to the chapel and we're gonna get married. Going to the chapel and we're gonna get married. Gee, I really love you and we're gonna get married. Going to the chapel of love. Spring is here, the sky is blue. Whoa, birds all sing as if they...
When I was about a freshman or sophomore, well then Cyril and I kind of started looking at one another, but we didn't. I couldn't date then, and I would go to the ball games and so forth. I'd just see him there, you know. And then when I was 16, well, I got to date, and so we went to see many movies in Bardstown, or in Springfield. In Springfield, they had the Majestic Theater. In Lebanon, they had the Arista.
Well, we started dating in about second grade, I guess.
What?
She started eyeing me about seventh grade.
Now, does that mean you didn't have any other girlfriends?
Oh, I probably had a few Louise didn't know about. She probably had a few and I didn't know about. Well, I guess from freshmen on, you know, freshmen, you know, we used to have shows up at the ballpark that, you know, guy come there about once a week.
You mean over here?
Yeah, oh no, at the old ballpark, up above our house. We're going, you know, up on the right there was a big ball field there, and they had a grandstand, you know, people, a few hundred people. And they'd always have a show there, of course, I know, it cost you 15 cents, you know, and have a wild western or something like that.
The evening breeze caressed the trees tenderly. The trembling trees embraced the breeze tenderly. Then you and I came wandering by, and lost in a sigh were we.
Were you one that her parents liked or did not like?
I don't never didn't hear him say. I don't know. I didn't ask her.
That would be
I
her.
think Miss Russo didn't think, you know, he gonna live very long. Didn't think thought he'd die very young because he's always sick. But I fool out left about outlive them all.
We would usually go out on Friday and Sunday nights. And Cyril would call, and I'd have to go and ask Daddy if I could go. And we double dated with Shannon and Sam Smith. A lot of times, or Polly and Bobby McDonald. And Polly was working for Mr. Sam and for Miss Amy then, so she lived there. And we would go over there to their house sometime, over to Mr. Sam's. And I remember going over there on Christmas Eve when I was dating Cyril. We would go over there, and they would have the most huge bunch of big gifts all wrapped up. It was like a room full. You couldn't even walk in the room.
But
Now I do remember something about when you first got married. You thought you could still go play cards and stuff.
I did. Yeah, I didn't think it was in my deal. You know, go to the store. What's the store? You know, to the store every night. You know?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and you know that was I didn't know that I couldn't. I went down the store until I was 10 years old. Went down the store every night for 20 years, I guess. had to go down and see what's going on. Then we play cards there sometimes there, you know.
When Cyril got out of high school, he went to Louisville, and he went to St. Helena's Commercial College, and he boarded at his cousin's, Martha Fields. She was a Hayden, and he stayed down there for a while. I don't think he stayed very long, and he came back, and he got a job at the Springfield State Bank.
Mm-hmm.
And then he got a job later at Gohagen and Mathis in Bardstown. And then he got a job out where he worked for 45 years, and that was out at Spankle or Nelson Distributing Company, it was called then.
Oh, I think I had, first car I had was 49 Pontiac. Brought from Uncle Sam, his English car. And Shannon and Helen, they drove it up St. Catherine's, you know, to go to school, go to college up there. And it was pretty much, you know, but it was a good looking car, black, pretty good looking car there. But, you know, I worked at the bank and I couldn't hardly, didn't make enough to buy the gas almost, you know. But anyway, I got rid of that after so long. Paid Uncle Sam, I think it's $1,200. I think we had to pay him off after we got married.
We got married at 8 o'clock in the morning, and that was the usual thing to do. And I guess one reason was because you had to be fasting from midnight, and it was on Derby Day, May the 7th, on Derby Day. And after the wedding, all the wedding party, Father Lammers, and all the wedding party, all the families, went over to Francis and Paul Hamilton's, and they had a big breakfast. Then, at 2 o'clock that afternoon, people came back to my parents' house, and we had the reception. When we left to go on our honeymoon, we went to Gatlinburg.
Do you remember where you stayed?
Mm-hmm. It was a little stone cabin.
We stayed at Pinebone first night.
Yes, we did. We stayed at Pinebone the first night, then we went on.
me state for the record, we're giving love in a family dose. We are family. Hey, I got all my sisters with me. We are family.
I feel that we have been so blessed by God, who has given us 60 years of married life. There are a lot of long marriages in my family. I had 3 brothers who were married over 65 years. One married 50 years, and one married 40 years. And my parents were married 57 years. So I come from a long line of love. We are blessed to have a wonderful family and to have many good friends. And we are honored tonight to have you to help us celebrate this great event in our lives. Thank you.
See the pyramids along the Nile. Watch the sunrise on a tropic isle. Just remember, darling, all